With the PlayStation 4 still at least a year away, Sony wants to squeeze every bit of profit it can out of the PS3. And what better way to do that than release a redesigned version that's slimmer and probably cheaper to make. I'm Bill Detweiler, and on this episode of Cracking Open, we're going inside the PlayStation 3 Super Slim. The Super Slim is Sony's third PS3 version. It's the same width and roughly the same height as the PlayStation 3 Slim, but its sides are significantly shorter. Now, like its predecessor, the Super Slim has two USB ports and a hard drive activity light along the front. Around the back, you'll find the same Ethernet, HDMI, optical audio, and PS3 AV ports found on the previous model. But from here on out, things are a bit different. For starters, the new machine's optical drive has a manual sliding disc cover instead of a motorized slot loading mechanism. Now, this design likely helped Sony cut both costs and save space. But it just feels cheap, and as CNET's Jeff Bakalar wrote, it's ultimately a step back. Now, another change is how you access the hard drive. The original PS3's hard drive was accessed through a panel on the side. Sony moved that access point to the front on the PS3 Slim. And now they've gone right back to the side. But on the Super Slim, you just remove the whole side panel and not just a small cover. And this is where our teardown begins. After removing the hard drive, I removed 3 rubber feet that run along the back and side of the unit's bottom, and a void if removed warranty sticker. Next, I removed the screws that were all underneath. Next, I removed the 3 screws from the side of the case where the hard drive is. Now, 2 of the top cover screws are accessible by opening the drive door, but to remove the other ones, you'll need to pop off the pieces of shiny plastic molding that run along the front and rear edges of the top cover. With all the external screws removed, we can pop off the top half of the case and get our first look inside the console. The Super Slim's internal layout is very similar to that of the PS3 Slim. The optical drive is mounted in the front right corner, the cooling fan to the side, and the power supply along the back. The motherboard is under it all. Now, both interiors are a far cry from the original PS3s. The optical drive assembly comes out next. By incorporating the disc enclosure into the Super Slim's actual case, Sony definitely saved a little space inside the unit. I suspect the new drive is also cheaper. Now, like the optical drive, the new machine's power supply is smaller than the PS3 Slims. It's also rated for fewer amps, so the new console appears to be drawing less current than its predecessors. After removing a few more screws, I lifted out the motherboard and shield assembly. Unlike the PS3 Slim, you can't remove the fan without removing the whole assembly and then separating the shield from the motherboard. Now, given the Super Slim's more compact design, it's not surprising that the cooling fan is smaller than the one in the larger Slim. Now, with the shield assembly removed, we get our first look at the motherboard. Compared to the PS3 Slim's board, this one is smaller and the chips are placed closer together. Sony also removed the heat spreader from the Reality Synthesizer package, swapped Marvell's discrete wireless board for a newer Marvell WLAN Bluetooth sock, and went with 2 1GB XDR DRAM chips for the machine's main memory instead of the older version's 4 512 megabit chips. With our teardown complete, it's clear, and a bit disappointing, that Sony wasn't trying to upgrade the PS3 line with the Super Slim, just refine it. So that begs the question, why would they do this? Well, as I said in the beginning, I think it comes down to cost. The new optical drive, redesigned motherboard, and all the other changes likely make the console cheaper to manufacture. And given that Sony hasn't lowered the price, at least not at launch, they're making more on each unit sold. And if they do lower the price later this year, or definitely once the PlayStation 4 comes out, the lower production cost lets them keep making money on the PS3. Now, if you're thinking about buying one of the new PS3 Super Slims, check out Jeff Bakalar's full CNET review for real-world tests and pricing information. And to see more teardown photos of the PS3 Super Slim and read my full hardware analysis, go to techrepublic.com/crackingopen. I'm Bill Detweiler. Thanks for watching.